Thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakron. Just want to share with you some of the top stories that we are following right now. And if you look on our website, you can actually see the top stories. And we begin with this news that we've just confirmed within the last hour that the Department of Justice is launching a civil investigation into the Fulton County Jail. You know, this investigation will focus on living conditions, access to medical care, mental health care, possible use of excessive force. Of course, Atlanta News First has covered several cases where families accuse jail leadership of mistreatment. So we're going to have more on this investigation this afternoon on Atlanta News First, and we encourage you to just stay up to date on our website for the latest information. But remember that according to attorney Michael Harper back in April, LaShawn Thompson, who was at the Fulton County Jail, he was there for 3 months and was eventually found dead in a jail cell, allegedly eaten alive by insects and bed bugs. Certainly this is one of the significant cases that has launched or really sparked this investigation. Major story that we're going to continue to follow here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. Also want to let you know about this situation in DeKalb County, which you may observe if you are passing through that area. But there is a heavy police presence, SWAT teams there in this neighborhood in Decatur. It's actually happening on River Ridge Court. So we have a crew on the scene there, just trying to get a little bit more information about what is what's triggering all of this. But very active scene, and you know, once again, if you get onto our website, atlantanewsfirst.com, we have updates. We encourage you to always download our free Atlanta News First mobile news app if you haven't yet done that, because you'll get alerts sent straight to your phone on any breaking news, weather alerts, anything that's relevant that is going to impact you. And you can see this footage that we shot via our news helicopter. Just kind of giving you an aerial view. It looks like an otherwise quiet neighborhood, so this would presumably be a pretty big deal in that community. This is also a major announcement that we're following. This is another one of our top stories on atlantanewsfirst.com, which is this major announcement for women's health all across the country. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has now approved the first over-the-counter birth control pill. It's an oral contraception, pill, which is going to be available without a prescription at drugstores, grocery stores, and online. The manufacturer is still determining the price and when it's going to be on shelves, but the FDA says this pill is safe. It's expected to be more effective than other non-prescription contraception. And during testing, the most common side effect was irregular bleeding, along with headaches, dizziness, nausea, increased appetite, cramps, or bloating, but is otherwise deemed to be fairly safe, hence the approval by the FDA. But this afternoon on Atlanta News First, on our traditional newscast, we're going to break down the process for women to get access to the pill when it becomes available. And of course, we also stream that broadcast as well on Atlanta News First Plus. You can always check us out online and our app to get the latest updates. Okay, want to turn to some other news that we're following locally. A man is dead, a woman is hurt after a dispute at a gas station, and it actually happened overnight. Clearly, it turned violent somehow. My colleague Rebecca Schramm has more.
Paramedics rushed the woman here to the hospital. It's unclear where on her body she was shot. Detectives believe she may have been hit by a stray bullet. Let's take you to the scene from overnight in southwest Atlanta. This is an Amoco gas station on Sylvan Road, right where it intersects with Perkerson Road. According to the homicide commander, police got the call at about 12:30 a.m. that someone had been shot. When officers arrived, they found a man roughly 35 to 40 years of age on the ground in front of the store. They tried to revive him, but it was too late. He did not survive. Detectives believe it all started with a dispute that escalated into gunfire. They tell us they have the man who they believe pulled the trigger.
We are speaking to someone at our headquarters. He's not in custody as of now. He's being interviewed by investigators to get a determination of his role in the matter. We are working with the gas station to acquire surveillance footage. They've been very cooperative and is going to assist in our investigation.
As for the woman hit by the stray bullet, detectives were here at the hospital interviewing her to try to figure out what she saw and what connection, if any, she has to either party. If you have any information that might help detectives sort it all out, you're asked to give police a call. Live in Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
Now, another story that we have been following is the deadline for the Screen Actors Guild and studios and streaming services to reach a deal passed at midnight. This is a story, we've been following really closely. So now SAG-AFTRA has to decide if they're going to join the writers on the picket lines here. Atlanta News First reporter Madeline Montgomery she spent some time today at the Movie Studio Assembly Atlanta with how a strike could impact us here in Georgia.
If actors go on strike, it'll be the first time since the 1960s that them and the Writers Guild went on strike at the same time. Right now, with the Writers Guild being on strike, a lot of productions here in Atlanta have slowed down. Well, industry insiders say that if the actors go on strike too, most productions will probably stop altogether. The Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, had set a deadline for 11:59 Wednesday with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers to come up with a deal. The main issue at hand is money. The actors want the new deal to have pensions, healthcare contributions, and additional payments when the shows they appear in air on streaming services. There are also concerns over AI replacing performers in TV and in film.
I think this is a wake-up call not only for the entertainment industry, but for every industry to really look at that and say, we are not being paid fairly. We are not being paid a fair share of the pie for what we are contributing to these industries.
According to SAG's website, their board of directors are going to meet this morning to vote whether or not to strike. And if they do say yes to a strike, it could start as soon as today. That means performers not going to set to act and not going out to promote their film and their TV shows. Reporting in Doraville, I'm Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
All right. And here's another story that is pretty interesting that's making headlines. Robots as companions. What do you think about that? Well, some new studies are showing that loneliness can not only affect, of course, your emotional health, but your physical health, your brain. And now researchers are suggesting that these robots, companion robots, could actually help with this loneliness. You see that lady dancing with a robot. According to these researchers, these companion robots could soon form very strong social connections with humans. A survey among doctors found that 70% think that insurance should actually cover the cost of this technology. But researchers say we do need to think about how, the ethical impacts, what the ethical impacts might be of robotic companions. And they do insist that having a real human friend is still the best solution. I might suggest that having a pet is another good solution as well. Thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. Of course, we will always have your updates here if you want to check in with us. And as always, I recommend downloading our free Atlanta News First app. And that way you can get breaking news updates, weather alerts set straight to your phone. Thanks and have a great day.